It's been a while, but it's time to do another game jam. After a bit of looking, I chose to join the mini game jam. Wait, no, the mini jam jam. It's a 2-day jam where you had to make a game that fit a theme and had a special object. The theme was freeze, and the special object was a whistle, which was, I never come up with the most creative game ideas, so I ended up making a precision platformer where you could freeze time with the whistle. The longer you held down the whistle, the longer time was frozen for. I could then have a bunch of objects like fans, moving saw blades and platforms that would stop when time was frozen. The idea felt pretty basic, but I just ran with it because I thought it was the only idea I could finish on time. I wanted to use C++ with Raylib for the game, so before the jam even started, I made sure I could compile a Raylib project and run it natively and on my browser. The first actual thing I did on the day of the jam was to quickly make a level editor. I wanted to store levels as text files, but there's absolutely no way I was making these by hand. I made this using Python and Pygame because I needed something up quickly, and the level editor wasn't going to be part of the outro game anyway. Here's one of the saved levels I've made. This will probably just be for testing. The sprites are just temporary, but they should do the job for now. Now that the level editor was created, I could focus on getting the levels into the actual game. Each level file consisted of tiles that are split by semicolons, and the data for each tile, like its type, position and size, were split by commas. I made this level class that basically reads in the text file, splits each tile individually, and created the correct tile object by reading its tile data. Each tile type was its own object, which inherited from a base tile class. This probably wasn't even necessary, but whatever. Each tile had a draw function, which the level handler could call, but I was just drawing rectangles at the time. And special tiles that moved, like the moving platform or saw blade, had an update function so their positions could change each frame. Now I could see my beautiful level in a Raylib window, but the game would be pretty bad if the player couldn't move, so I made a player controller. Getting the collision to work with the moving platform was a bit fiddly, but I got there in the end. I also got the time freezing mechanic down as well. The plain rectangles and circles were getting a little boring, so I started on the art. I wanted to go for a really simple art style, as competing in a 2-day jam meant that I was very tight on time. My art skills also kinda just sucked. The game actually looked like a game now, or maybe just a buggy prototype, but it was an improvement nonetheless. Time for level creation. I don't remember much from this time, but I do know that I was very tight on time on this point. I only managed to create like 5 main levels. I also had to scrap a few ideas as they weren't feasible to develop in the given time frame. I tried to introduce new mechanics slowly, but then again I only had time to make like 5 levels. I knew there were many more ideas I could have explored, given more time. With like 20 minutes left, I realised that I hadn't actually created the whistle. Like, the freezing time mechanic worked, but the actual object wasn't there, and I didn't really want to break the rules. So I quickly drew one up and made it appear when the player held down the whistle. And after doing that, I finally submitted the game. Yeah, I missed the deadline by like 20 minutes. I really don't learn my lesson, do I? I had a few issues actually exporting the game, which I just didn't account for. Luckily, all I had to do was join their Discord and create a ticket, and I was able to submit my game late. I ended up calling the game Whistle Platformer, because there's a whistle, and it's a platformer. Yeah, it was the only thing I could think of. I was quite busy in the days after the jam, so I only had the chance to play and rate a few games. Now for the results. I ended up coming 117th out of 154 entries. I know this sounds bad, but technically it's the best game jam I've had, so I'll take it. Not having audio definitely reduced my placement, so I'll bear that in mind for my next game jam. A lot of people also don't like the fact that you could only use the arrow keys to move, so I guess having multiple buttons for controls would be helpful in the future. Having a web build was a huge benefit, as it allowed people to play my game much more easily. Using Raylib was also very nice. It handled input, rendering, collisions, and could have been used for audio if I had the time. It also simplified the web building process considerably. After a few days of rest, I decided to spend an extra week on it, or at least that was the plan, but I ended up misjudging my coding skills and ended up spending another like month and a half on it. I don't really record much during this period, as I really just wanted to get the project finished, so here's a list of the things I added during this time. I added movable blocks, an animated background, extra key bindings, improved the player controller with jump buffering and wall jump leniency, added level transition animations, added player squash and stretch, animated the player's whistle, Added particles for fans, blocks, jump pads, sliding, jumping, landing, dying and respawning. Added sound effects and music. Added menus, a speedrun timer, post-processing, full screen mode. Created 7 more levels and added frame rate independence and frame interpolation. And most importantly, this animation in the level select menu. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's nice, it's nice. In all seriousness, I'm pretty happy with how the project turned out. And although the game is quite simple, I definitely think it's my best game in terms of like actual polish and completeness. Hopefully I'll start uploading more often. I'm painfully slow at video editing, but I'm sure I can get it quicker. If you want to play Whistle Platformer, you can check it via the link in the description. The latest levels are quite hard, so good luck if you end up playing it. Here are some of my times if you want something to aim for. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching till the end. Peace.